Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the, I was going to say London since the guys are asking me what London. Welcome to the weekly outlook. Let me give you a fast rundown, if you give me 2 minutes, about what we do, because I still think a lot of people are a little, amazed about when I said we do a daily webinar. I'll run through the structure of our group and how it works, so you guys would have an idea. I'm not sure I can show you the group without compromising anything inside the group itself. So it's a Slack group. And if any one of you use Slack, you know how it works, right? You actually have a number of channels in Slack. So we have a channels where we post chart. We have one where we chat. We have one where we post for cryptocurrencies. For those who trade cryptocurrencies, we have one for commodities. We have one for recordings. That is the London recording. What is a London recording? Every day, 8 a.m., I do a London webinar, every single day. But it's exclusive for my traders, where I give them the update, and we normally take trades sometime the trade is active in the webinar. And then we have a trading room where we go. That works 24-hour. It's something like this, except that all the traders can share their charts. So everybody is a presenter, which means anybody could say, okay, give me the presentation and I'll share my charts. And he has the right to share his charts, show the setup. They will discuss it and take the trades if they like it. So you will be, the room is working all the time. It's open from Australian on the open. We have traders in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore who opens it. And then it's closed in the, sometimes it's not even closed, but most likely it's closed in the New York session, and it keeps working like that every day. Sometimes it doesn't close. Traders are just there chatting, and maybe they're practicing on something and move on, because we have traders from all over the world, basically. And that keeps going. That's like a non-stop circle. I join that room about 2-3 times a day, basically. Especially if there are a lot of news events, I try to go in at the time when there are news events, and we trade. We take technical trade based on the news coming up. Yep. During the news events, I'm always in there. No, she's one of our traders. I'm always in there. Is there a serious news event coming up? I would go in and we'll trade. So I can show you Friday trade we took, a number of trades we took Friday in the room. And it's a non-stop thing. When you do the course, you don't really, that's the end of it. That's the start of your career in our room. You do the course, we just load you with all the information and all the rules and everything and how we do this. We give you training how to use it, and then you get in that trading room, and that's where your career starts as a trader. That's where you actually start practicing what we do, how we do it. And we do this daily. If at any one point we find that a few traders are having difficulty, we will do another class. I will do a one-on-one with them, all of that. Do you have any students from Croatia? Maybe, I'm not sure. I can't say from Croatia itself, but I'm pretty sure we might have one. And yep, what is it? Biggest disappointment, of course, is the trading room. It's useless and dead. Where you get that from, Andrew? I'm not sure where you get that from, because if you're my trader, you would know we trade every single news event. So you probably not. Is the wave trader one of my ex-students? No, he is not. He's never taken my course. He's not my student, and I have no idea what he's doing. What is it? Okay, keep all your questions for afterwards, right? From Middle East, yes, we have a lot of students. I was in Dubai, and we have a ton of students from Dubai. We met with about 15 students. We had lunch with them, right? Okay, let's knock it off. We're not here to criticize any particular trader. If you're talking about a strategy, that's something else. But any particular trader, I don't care about it. Not our job. That's not what we do. We have from Pakistan a lot of traders. We have traders from many countries in the world. So let's not even worry with that. Let's go to what we were supposed to do. From Syria, I don't think so. So let me show you some of the setups we are taking on during the news event. One of them, I can show you a trade we are in still. That is the New Zealand. The New Zealand went up here. We sold the New Zealand here with the stop here, and we're still in that trade. Let me show you a trade that we took, and that we probably took money out of it. By the way, this one we took this morning. We took that one this morning. We're still in that. That should go. This is a trade we took during the news event. Here, we sold it here. And my trader sold it there. I was in Dubai when they sold that. They did it without me. This one I did in trading room. So I'm still in that trade. We are still in that trade. All through all of this, we're still in that trade. And many of my traders are still in. We're keeping that trade because there's much more downside. Show you more trades we took? Well, we were not even going to go in this. There's a number of them we took in this one, right? Many of these drops we took in there during news events. New Zealand, you can tell we were looking for, I think this one, I wasn't in the room then. There were a number of, I think we took one here, and some of my traders may have taken this one. Let's see, yen. Oh, yen we took a lot. Yen we made a lot of money. Like this one was a perfect one we took during the news. That was one during the news event. That was a perfect trade. Well done. A lot of traders took that, make money. So we take a lot of trades during this news event. But we look for technical setups, and then we take the trade. Yep, you're still inside, right? I'm still in that trade. Why? Because it's going to go. That trade is going to go quite a lot. I'm still in it, and I'm looking to add to that, right? Because it's a good trade. It is going to go, and you can make money a lot in this. Punk Chief, I'm still in the Punk Chief. I'm still in profit in the Punk Chief, although it pulled back quite a lot because I'm very long-term on that one. So let's go to the webinar. I think that is enough. So, our room is one of the most active trading room you can find anywhere around. Literally, people are always in that room. All the time. And we have some really great traders in there. Well, if you ask 3 people or 4 people in the world who were in my group, they would say, no, those are the 4 people I kicked out of the group. And they were kicked out of the group for discipline. Right? Anybody who gets kicked out of my group will get kicked out for their attitude. Literally, they were booted out of the room, right? So those were the 4 people who might tell you that, oh, that room is no good, right? Otherwise to that, I think everybody else is in and they're doing pretty well, right? Right? So let's go. Let's start. DXY, dollar index. Dollar index is in some kind of a consolidation like everything else. And I'm thinking this is going to go more up. So we have got to move up. We've got to move down. It looks like we're going for another move up here. So we're looking for more upside in the dollar index, right? What is that, Akash? What are you guys going on? Okay, I hope it's nothing bad. I'll go ahead. So let's go. Euro. Everybody keep your chat now for the end, and we'll go. Euro, I think Euro is going to go down. We just need Euro to confirm because we know we're doing 1, 2, 3. We just need to confirm that they don't make one more spike above it because Euro, if you look at the pattern they're making, they make a lot of expanding flats. Let me show you them. Here is one. We're looking for this correction in the Euro. 1, 2, 3. But if you notice, this B wave actually came above. It went slightly above, then went down, then they go back. So we've got the first one down. We're going for the second one. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be like this. They could go up a little and then come back down here. They may even tag the top before they go. So let's look at this and see. You're not supposed to be in a sell now in the Euro. You're supposed to be in the buy. Those who took the buy, we took that off. If you took the buy here, we watch this. If it makes a flag here, then we go for the sell, right? Because there's a good chance that if they go back up, you may even get one buy. And remember what I said. If you get a trade in the Euro now, take the trade, get in, get out. I think all of you remember when I said, if you get this buy, take the trade, take your profit, get in, get out. They're all short term. The same thing for this week. Any trade setup you get on these, whether it's a buy or a sell, and you could get both. Get in and get out immediately. Take your profit. It goes to your target, take your profit. Don't keep them. They're not long-term setups. So I think we're in a big sideways coming back to the trend. If you look at the trend on the daily and the 4-hour, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's go to the daily. Right? We're in that uptrend. We've made a number of pullback. This is a bigger one. We're not looking at that. We're looking at this one. We think we could get one of that more, and there's a chance we go for one more up. So you're going to watch this for this move down, and then you're going to be looking for that big buy there. So this week, the whole week this week, I think we're going to be looking for that downside, right? If this gives you a flag, your downside is ready to go. If you don't, wait for the setup, right? If you don't get a flag. So let's go. Pong. I think Pong is the easiest and the best one to trade so far, right? We're looking for Pong to go much more downside. I think Pong is going to come very much to about this area. Then it'll tell us what it's looking like. So this is a consolidation, and I think this is going to go down much more, right? Now, we may get deeper consolidations in this. If this comes to the low and make an attempt one more up, we'll get a triangular pattern, and that's a good thing because the triangular pattern will confirm the downside, right? I still think this is consolidation for more down. The question is whether the consolidation is over. right? If you look at it from a 1 hour point of view, it might not be over. You have 1, 2, 3, we could get 4, and we could get 5, and then we could still go down, right? So in that consolidation, if you're trading, very short-term trades, take profit. Once you see they come back to the top or they go to the bottom, if you understand how to trade a triangular pattern, you'll probably get some very nice trades. I'm looking for downside. And I think this could be very big downside. Two things we look at. I think that the critical point where I'll be looking for whether it's an absolute downtrend on the daily is when it comes to this area. How and when it comes to this area. If it comes like this, we'll probably go back up. If they come very sharp, I think we'll be going down totally. So I'll try to keep that and add more trades to what I have. Right? I'm in that and the number. And remember, we've been talking about this sell for a long while. So if you're not in that sell, wait for this consolidation to finish and get a trade in there. Right? Let's go. Aussie. Aussie's in a downtrend. The problem with the Aussie downtrend is it looks like a big, big, big correction. Right? This piece, that piece there. It looks like a big correction. So there's a good chance Aussie is doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means this thing is not going aggressive right now, but it could keep going down. So what you would look for is every time you see a flag or you see a bigger correction, look for a sell setup. So if you were looking carefully this morning, there was a sell setup there, but you may want to move that into profit because this thing could still go back up, right? I'm thinking there's a possibility. If you're in the trade, you don't have to close the trade because they could be going down right now. But there's a good chance that we make this 1, 2, 3, which means they can come here and go back up for one more before they go down. Let's look at that in the 1 hour. And I wanted to see this pattern here. See this one, they came back pretty deep all the way to the low here, and then they make another move up. So you can watch it when it comes here. You move your stop and you watch to see if they're coming back here. Because if they come back here, we'd look for a sell setup somewhere from there going down. Right? So we would look for a setup. Let me just clear this to everybody because somebody wrote me and said, oh, I saw your webinar and you draw that you should sell from this area. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to sell from that area. I'm saying you look at the pattern and you will wait for a sell setup before you enter the trade. It could be from this area, it could be from this area, it could be from here. But once it breaks the trend line, it's no longer valid. It has to be under that trend line. So it's not where I draw. What I'm drawing is a possibility of how that pattern could look. This thing could still go. And if this go, the only way you can get in now, if you're not in already, is you have to wait for a flag to get it, right? If it makes a flag, that's a setup for you. What a flag looks like, I think all of you know, this is a perfect setup of a flag. That's your trade. Here's a perfect setup of a flag. That's your trade. Here's a perfect setup of a flag. That's your trade. So if they make a flag here instead of going back up, you get a trade to the downside. There's a likely chance they can do this and then come down because we may be looking at the bigger pattern in the making, right? It's that easy, not difficult. Yeah, if you're really good and you want to sell there, give it a try as long as you know how to manage the trade. New Zealand, same thing. We've got a big correction here. We've got a deep correction here. We've got a small correction. We sold these. We've got a correction. And right now, New Zealand, you can only sell if you get a flag. Right? If they give you a flag, you can sell because the same thing. We can expect 1, 2, 3, and then the downside. New Zealand is definitely downside long term. We broke the trend line. This is going very aggressive. So they can actually make more consolidation here and then go. But if you get a flag, every time you get a flag, you sell because we don't know how deep this is going to go before that deeper one come back. So on the 1 hour, every time you get a flag, you'll take a sell. Right? So if they give you a flag now, you sell it, take profit. If they go back up, that will be a good trade, which means if this turn here go back up, we'll look for the buy and then we'll look for this sell, making something like that and then downside. So this could be a nice trade up. Maybe this week we get that. If Aussie turns, New Zealand will turn. If they keep going down, look for flags and sell. Right? That's all. If you manage your risk correctly, you may lose one trade and that's it, and then you'll be in the buy to the upside. So one or two times you may get into a trade that looks like it's going to go. They don't go. They come back, take you out. You look for the opposite direction as long as the structure is building for that, and you start trading it to the upside. What's the big deal? You're going to make a lot of money on the opposite side, right? As long as you have a setup. So wait for a flag here. If you don't get a flag, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Here's what a nice flag looks like. That's a nice trade. So wait for that. This week is going to be a lot of waiting because we're in the consolidation zone. They've already moved. If you notice, they've already moved very nice. Now they're going to consolidate, and then they will start moving again. Yen, isn't this perfect? So if you're following my webinar, you'd remember, right? The up, the down, the up, and they're coming back down. All of them, every one of them, piece by piece. Well, they still have more downside. They have to break this low, that blue, the light blue one, and very likely they will come to this area before they go back. Now, only in one case, we think that this could be it, and they may be going up. So let me bring it back in the daily to show you that. There's only one case, because if you look at this previous structure, you had an impulse, you had a correction, and you had another impulse, right? We're not even going to go into that correction, what structure it is. That's not what we do here. We do that in our trading room where we teach people what structure it is. If this was all the correction, then this could be your first impulse. This could be a 1, 2, 3, and this thing could take off. That's a rare structure. It doesn't exist very often like that. It could happen, but it's unlikely it's going to happen. The probability of that happening is pretty low. What could most likely happen is this. You see this correction in the middle there? Is that we could get a correction in the middle here and then drop to this 270 before they go back up. Now, this would make the perfect structure. 1, 2, 3, and then you look for this to the upside. Easy, right? So is it going to do exactly that? I don't know. I don't even care if it's going to do exactly that. That is how structure should develop. And if structure is going to develop like that, good. I'm going to get a lot of those trades. Remember, I told you I was already in the buy when it was going down. I was already in profit. Well, yes, the trade trigger for me right exactly here. So I am in the buy right now because my buy was protected way before. Right? My buy was protected way before. So I'm in the buy. And my stop is in profit as well as the trade is in profit. That's a little difficult for you guys to figure out right now, but that is exactly how it is. I'm also in from there. So here's what you're going to do now. I could put this trade to break even, and if this goes back down again, I buy again. Now, I think it's going to make a deeper correction. I'm not sure about it. We'll see. Sharma, if you're not in our group, don't try to guess what that is. That I'm just doing that for the fun, especially for the trolls. It's a strategy we use that creates that. It's when you join the group, you learn the strategy. So watch this. I think we can make a flag here and go back. So if they make a flag here, you guys should look for buy setups, because I think we may be making a bigger, maybe a bigger correction before they go down. And in any case, if the very rare instance of this going up from here happens, which is rare based on the daily structure, if that happens and you're in the buy, well, you're okay. If that doesn't happen, you keep taking profit and wait until you get the downside. We'll sell it and then we'll start looking for buys again, right? So let's see. We've been monitoring this very closely. We've been trading. Most of my traders took trades all the way from the top here, and they sold and they sold and they sold and they sold. They just keep selling like crazy, and they're taking profits now, right? So you can see that once if and when this get here to the upside, this would be one hell of a trade for us. I mean, literally. So it can do anything it wants right now. Once you understand structure, you follow these, you can trade it down. We have traders who've been selling every single one of those pullback and making money. So watch this. I don't think this is just a simple pullback, but we'll keep an eye on it. If it makes a flag, you get upside. All right? So let's go. USD CAD. CAD is giving you a sell setup. I think that's easy to see. Now, what are the chances? Is CAD keep going up? There are a good chance it could go up, but I don't think you want to buy in the CAD right now. You're looking for a sell, and this might be short term. Take profit. Don't keep it. It's not long term, because if you look at the daily and the CAD, we've only had one move up. Remember, we said this is going to give you a deeper correction. Now, the correction, we have a deep correction, but this might not be all. That may be one leg of the correction. Can't see the recording. It's on, Mark. So what you're going to look for is you're going to look for, thank you, right? You're going to look for this to come back here, and it might come slow, and then you may get one more up before you start to get a downside. So I think we'll be in a long-term consolidation in the CAD here. Now, in very rare cases, this is all they pull back and it goes, right? That's not typical. Very often you will get a deeper three-wave pattern before they go, like this, for example. See that three-wave pattern there? Right, so it's something like that we're expecting here before they go. But hey, sometimes they just give you one deep pullback and that's it, they drop. Right, so what you're going to do here is you'll start looking for sell setups. There's a good sell setup here, right? You got the breakout, you're getting a flag, it breaks the flag, you get in the trade. If you know how to trade it, that's not a strategy, just get in the trade. You should have a you should have a tested strategy to trade this. Look for this trade, move it into profit, move it into profit. If they start to turn from somewhere, they're going to go back up. You can trade it up again. If this is going to make a correction to the downside, it's not going to be sharp. It is going to be very slow, and it might start to do this, then go up. So you can look for sells, and then you look for buys. Watch it when it comes to this low, right? Swiss, pretty much we expected Swiss to go back up. Remember this pattern. You can look for the break when they come to this level. Be careful, because I think this is an expanding flat and we're going up. Where is Swiss going? I think this is easy. We made it very clear where they're going. They're coming back to this top, and I think they're going to break and go to that top. So you can start looking for buy setups, right? Remember, this one was coming down to tag this low. I still have it here. When it was even in here, we said, watch this, it's going to drop, tag that low, and then go back up. If you were in my webinars, you would see that's exactly what I was saying, right? When it was at the top here, we were saying that. When it was doing all of this, we were saying it was going. Look for the buy setups. So now you look for a setup for buy, get it to this, and there's a likely chance you're going to break this top. So 4 hour, going very nice. 1 hour. If you got in the trade, you should have got in the trade either in the break of that top or in the break of this, and the break of that top. If you got in there, it's okay. If you haven't, because remember, we broke this structure. If you haven't, then wait for a flag and then get in the trade. Any correction, any flag would be a good reason to get in the trade. Euro Oz broke out. We are breaking the daily structure, and that's a good sign. If you break this daily structure, they're likely going to go much. They may go slow, but we are expecting them to go to at least about a 270. And from there, there's no telling how far it can go, right? So let's look at this in the lower time frame. It's not very aggressive right now, and I'm a little surprised they're not so aggressive. But keep an eye on it. If you're in the trade, you should have been in the trade from somewhere in here or from somewhere in here, right? All you got to do is keep a stop here, right? My traders should be in from there, and if they keep a stop or they got a break even so far, we'd look for another trade. It's not very aggressive, right? It's still going to go, but it's going very, very slow, which means if they keep doing that, they will start to make a deeper pullback. You may want to put the break even. If this doesn't go, right, put that to break even, because if they start coming back, they will make a deeper pullback before they go. They'll make something much deeper, and then they're going to go up. So you don't want to be trapped in that deep sideways move before you go. So let's see if this is going to go, or if we get a deeper pullback in here and then they go. Something like a flag on this one. Not a flag, something like a corrective structure here, and then go. That's a possibility too. So if it doesn't go right now, just get it to break even and see what happens, right? Euro New Zealand, you may get a sell setup here. They almost tagged the top, which is what we were expecting. Let's go to the daily and show you. They almost tagged that up. So now they have to tell us, is this going to continue to go, or are they going to come back to this low and then go, making this a three-wave structure? See? How would you know that? Let's go to the 1 hour. 1 hour, you have a sell setup. This level right here, put it to break even and look for a buy. If this starts to go back, you look for a buy from here. That is going to take off. If they break this structure, you may end up going much lower. So you take the sell, you put it as a break-even trade. You don't want, that's not the profit. You're not looking for this profit. You're selling just in case it's going to break through. The sell is for if it's going to break through. But if it doesn't break through, you get a break-even trade in the sell, and you look for the buy in the opposite direction, right? On the daily, I think if it's this one you're asking me to show you in the daily, that is where the daily structures that we had to move up. We got to pull back, we got to move up, we could get another pullback, and then we could go. Right? So this would be a very big correction. The correction we didn't anticipate such a big correction. We thought they'll make very small corrections, because if you look at the previous move up, the corrections were very small. If you look at this impulse up, they didn't have such big corrections. So I'm not expecting them to come here and then go back. I'm expecting them to just climb, 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 and go, because we have finished this correction. And when you finish this, it's time for this to go, right? So just be careful. If you take the sell, put it to break even. The idea of the sell is just to protect you if they keep going down a lot. But there is a sell set up here right now. It may be short term. It may be a 1, 2, 3 like this was. 1, 2, 3, come here and then went back. So this could be 1, 2, 3 and then go back up. Don't miss the upside, right? Take this sell, put it to break even. If it stops here, go back up, buy here. Make sure you get a buy there, right? Because that buy may take off. Euro yen, magic, right? It did came and tag the low. I closed my trade for profit, as we expected to do. And now we're waiting to see what they do here. 2 options. Remember, I gave you 2 options last week. Everybody was supposed to take the sell and close the trade. Anybody who's not in my group did that? Took that sell and took profit to the bottom there? If you're not in my group and you did it, just type a Y. Well, you should have been in my group. Okay, a couple people did, right? Should have been in my group, because then you would have done it. Oh, we got a lot of people who did. Interesting. Very nice. You were listening. So now 2 options. Either we made a correction like that, which is an expanding flat, and we're going up for 1 more, and then the big downside. That big downside is coming, right? Or this is going to consolidate here, and that is it. We are going to go down. So what do we wait for here now? Go back to the 1 hour. Wait for a flag. You're waiting for 2 things here. You're waiting for this to either make a flag here and go back up, and we'll buy. If we see that, we'll buy. Or this is going to drop, go back up there, make a deep pullback, and then go. If this happens, we sell. So don't chase it. If you think this is going to fall, put an entry order under the low. They're either going to make a big correction here for downside, or they're going to make a small flag for upside. Wait for that to happen. EuroCAD. EuroCAD we thought would go down more, but like, you remember I said there's one option where this could be an expanding flat, and that option played out. They did make this trade. If you took the trade, you should have took profit. You may get another trade here. If you get that trade, take profit. Every time this thing makes a move up, take profit. Don't keep it, because one of these is going to start to fall. So if they go back up there, they can fall. If they go back up there, they can fall. This is getting flat. MACD is getting flat. This is going to go down. So you every trade to the upside means you take profit, right? Every time it makes one more push, and there's one more push actually there. They don't push very hard and very far, right? You can see that. Probably like that. Take profit. Wait for it to consolidate. Go again. I don't see them really taking off. I could see them actually falling. So you don't have a sell setup though. You're looking for a buy. Euro Chief, let's see, this is going. I'm trapped in the Euro Chief, in that I should have got out of it very early. I told my traders to put stop there, but I didn't put the stop. It should have been here. I didn't put the stop. So I got in the trade here, and I'm back at square one. So I just put the trade to break even, right? This is where we saw this coming. So we moved our stops, and all the trades move. I didn't get my stop in time, and it took off. So I'm not worried about it. It's a break even. We'll still keep that. There is still downside in this trade. Let me just show you. So I still think this is just a deeper correction for more downside. So it's a good thing if they don't tag me and then go, because if they tag me and then go, I'll look for a sell again. If they don't tag me and go, I'll look for a sell again. So I'll have either 2 trade or 1 trade going, but I'll look for a sell again. So would this sell be some kind of a 1 to 3 correction and then go back up? We will see how this move goes down. How that goes down will tell us whether they're going down totally or they're going to go back up. So there's definitely at least one more move in this. I don't think that's all the correction, right? So keep an eye on it. I think there's a bigger correction coming. And because we finished that move, the bigger correction could be somewhere from here to the downside. Hopefully it's not from exactly that spot where my break-even trade is. But we'll see. We'll get the trade. They're getting a little weak right now. So we'll see this one. And if they come, you can look for a break of this. And you can actually look for a trade, right? If they break this, you can look for a setup and then look for a trade down. So that would be a nice trade. Europong also keep pushing up, but now they've given us a structure that is totally showing you that this thing is dying out, right? You can see the squeeze there. They pushed one more up, squeeze there. They pushed one more up, and now it's getting tighter. And all of you know that. Look for this trade and then look for that trade, right? The daily structure is not changed. 1 hour. If you buy this, remember I said if you take the buys, take profit. If you took profit, you're doing well. Now you're looking for a sell setup. And I think this is pretty easy to see, right? You got an impulse and you're getting your correction the way I draw it. And then you look for this trade. And when it comes here, put that to break even. I don't think this is going to do that again. But if it starts doing that again, you can look for a buy setup and take profit again. But I hope this time they break through. Possible, yeah. Euro Oz could also do that. If the Euro Yen and the Euro Pong and whichever one, I think the Euro CAD goes down, watch the Euro Oz. It could start. The Euro Oz doesn't have to fall. What it could do actually is it could go sideways, downwards but sideways, right? More like a slow downside, whereas the rest of them could go very fast. So if you want to know which is going to probably go faster to the downside, I'll pay attention to the Euro Pound. Why? Let me just show you them. I'll go through them pretty fast on the daily, so you'll see which one might have the bigger move to the downside. Potentially, this one has a bigger move to the downside. That is this impulse. That's your correction. So potentially, if I'm looking for a Euro pair to the downside, this is one. Let's go to the Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss is a sideways move, right? This one should come back here. We don't know if they're going to get all the way to the bottom, but we can look at this as a possible, maybe even consolidating in here for a while and then go back up. So this one doesn't have a potential big move down, but a possible move down, right? It's in a consolidation. Euro CAD, I could see the Euro CAD probably coming back all the way to this low. And that could be a big move, but not as big as the Euro Pong, right? Euro Yen, definitely, if they don't make that one more up here, and they just consolidate in here, great. This is a move back to this level. So this could be a good one if we get that trade, right? If they don't make that, even if they make this one more and they did do it pretty fast, they're going to come down, right? Because this is your pattern. They're just waiting for this to finish and then come down here. That is back like this. And it might be much faster than this one. This one was slow, right? So watch this. Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand, there is a possibility. Either they're going to take off or they're going to come back to this low too. So if all of them come back, this could possibly happen before we go back up, right? And Euro Oz, same. Watch this. If it doesn't go, it could give us one of those fool me flat. You may have heard me say of it, and then go back up. This is going, they're all going to go up. There's upside in them, most of them. But just that these corrections might not be over as yet. This may just go sideways as well. This may just, keep sideways here and then take off. So just watch them. The biggest one to the downside that I think has potential to go is still the Euro Pound. I still think this one has the biggest potential. So let's see. If I'm going to trade the downside, I'll go with this one. If I'm trading the smaller trade sideways, I'll just take any of the other ones and go with them, right? Pangos, you're looking for a sell setup. They made a nice tree wave here. 1, 2, 3. They came down. They pull back. They go there. They pull back. So if they start breaking this, look for a trade to the downside, right? If we don't break that top, and even if we break the top, we're going to go down. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be a different pattern. But with this here, if they start coming down like that, look for a little flag and sell. You don't even have to wait for the break of this. You can just look for a flag right. And if you get a 60-minute flag, sell it. I don't see a buy setup there. It may go, but I don't see a setup. Pound New Zealand, you got a nice setup here. Look for a sell. Can this thing crawl up some more? I think they can. I could see them crawling up some more. And actually, if they go up more, it's better for you because it gives you a better pattern for a sell. Right? If they keep doing that, you get a better trade to the downside. Pound CAD. All of you should already be in this. I'm already in this trade, and it's actually breaking right now. So we're breaking this structure. I think they can go. I think the consolidation may be over once this was over. Right, that consolidation is over. So let's see. Remember, Punkad, you're supposed to be in the Punkad, the very first trade, this one, right? I think this was the very first trade. You got taken out on that. You got this one. You take profit. Now you're getting a trade that is looking very nice in this area here. So keep an eye on that. You'll have to keep a much larger stop on this one because it's very, volatile. Peng Yen, still to tell us what it's going to do. There are a number of options of how this structure could develop right now. And one of them is that this makes a consolidation here and come back to the low here, right? This would be your big correction before we go back up, right? That's the easy one. The complex one is if they start to make a triangle in here, or if this becomes a bigger triangle, right? Either of those two would mean upside, but we would actually be in a better position if they come here first, then go up, right? So if you see a consolidation in here, you'll have to wait probably about, let me show you what a consolidation there would look like. It's going to either look like this one or a bigger correction like that. So if you start to see them doing something like this here, good for us. It's a nice trade and you should take the trade. That'll probably take a couple days to happen, right? It's not going to go. If we get a flag here, they're going back up. You still have to wait for a couple days for this to happen. Probably 2 or 3 days for this to form, or more days for the other one to form. Which is going to form, I don't have any idea. It's not about you to guess which one. Just wait to see which one forms, and then you trade it, right? Because right now, this consolidation is just getting complex at this point that it is. We know there's one more up because this is the first impulse up, and we are going sideways. So there's one more impulse up. The question is this going to be from a C wave here, or is it going to be from a triangular pattern there? And you will never know that until it starts giving you a setup that says, okay, we're going up or we're going down. Right now, you have about 2 or 3 days to wait for that. Peng Chief. But if we look at the Peng New Zealand looking downside, if we look, you can see it, right? It's pretty clear. This looks downside, at least one more impulse, right? If you look at the Peng Oz looking downside, right, you can see it. It's pretty clear. You're expecting this to break and go down one more. If you look at the Peng Cat, pretty clear looking downside, right? Peng Cat looking downside. If you look at the Peng Swiss looking downside, right? We are already in this trade. We're already in this trade from the top here. It's pulling back, but the bigger picture of this trade still looks downside. And the 1 hour, I think we're just making some consolidation here. I could even see them going up a little more, pull back like this, but this downside, right? I'm still in this one yet. So it's downside. I'm still from the top here, so I'm not really worried about it. It's a break even in any case, right? I'm still long-term on this. Remember this, I showed you this. We sold this a number of times. This thing is still going down. This was the big correction. That's an impulse, and we are making corrections here now. So this should drop. So all the Peng pairs are showing a sign of downside. What do you think the Peng Yen would likely do? Right? If all of them are showing a sign of downside, then this may just do this and drop here. So if it does that, you get this trade and don't miss it, because when you come here, we will all be looking for the next trade up. Remember the Euro Yen and the Dollar Yen? The Dollar Yen has one more down and then up. So watch this. The dominant right now, the dominant pair, the dominant currencies in the yen pair is the yen. The yen tends to dominate when it moves because it moves very aggressive, right? Right now, the dominant one in the yen pairs will be the yen. So keep an eye on them. Pound Chief, I think we already know we're doing that. Aussie yen, you can see this looks more downside too, right? It's coming down right now and it's pulling back. So it's always good when they pull back. Short term, you have an upside trade. I'll take out this. We broke that already. Short term, you may get an upside trade here. You may get a short trade here and then look for downside. Right? So unless they break this structure, I'll not be interested in the buy. So you can watch that and then downside. Right? CAD-yen, same here. It's going down. If you look at the bigger picture, there is more to the downside. Right? Remember, we were saying watch all of them when they hit the top. They broke the top. I think this is going to make a correction here and then downside. Don't try to sell it right now. Wait for them to make that correction. You may even get short-term buys, right? You may get a short-term buy in the dollar yen and all the yen pairs. Look for short-term buys and then look for the downside. Wait for flags. Trade the flags both ways. When they start to correct like that, you can trade a flag to the upside and to the downside. Swiss yen, probably stay out of this one. This one is the toughest one to trade. It's coming down to, but it's really tough to trade. New Zealand yen, same downside, 1 hour. If you sell this, make sure you put a stop as soon as it come a little more, right? Put a stop because they can still make a bigger correction here. And then downside, right? I can show you that they've done that previously. More like this one, see? So you may get a bigger correction there. Be careful if you take this out because once they drop this much, they tend to make deeper corrections. Aussie, New Zealand, is this thing going to go down? But it still has to go down, right? So we're still waiting to see whether we will get this trade. Right now, you can see that it broke the top, but it's not going anywhere. Any trade here has to be short-term, short-term, short-term. Because this, if they start to fall, you would want this trade here. Right? Especially now, look at this piece. If it starts to fall, you want that trade. Any move to the upside, short term, take the trade, buy it, but get out very fast. So if you're taking this trade here now, if you want that trade to the upside, when it gets to the top, take profit. Or move your stop very tight because I don't think I'm looking for them to fall at some point. It may be a surprise fall. So keep your eyes on that. Aussie Chief, pulling back pretty deep. Let's look at the daily. Not giving us any good clue as to which side they're going to go because this could still go up one more if you pull this here. This was clear downside. That was a clear sell. But this one here now is not. It's not giving us any clue. Wait for this. Just wait some more. Let's see if they, if they give us anything like this, then we'd look for the sell. If they go up and they break the top, wait for correction and then buy. Nothing to do with this. You don't have any setup right now. So according to one guy, this guy said when it goes up, he said, I don't know what this guy is saying. He says when it go up, buy, when it goes down, sell. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you should do. You shouldn't be selling when it's going up and buying when it's going down because you're going to lose your account. What he's missing from what I'm saying is that you have to get a setup and you have to have a structure that shows he's going to go there. It's not just buy when it's going up. Is when it's going up, is this move going to make an up move that is much bigger in a higher time frame? Like I showed you in the yen. It's going down. It's going to go way down to this level. So you can trade it down all the way to that level. Every time it gives you a flag or it gives you setup for a sell, you can sell. If you understand that part, well, then you can become a trader. If you don't understand that, my advice to you, stop trading. It's not your thing. I mean, that is simple. And if you can't understand that, very simple. I'm not even going to go to the complex patterns and the complex strategies of entering them. I'm just giving you the simplest part. And if you can't understand that simple part, that when it's going down and you have a flag you should be selling, you better stop trading. Don't come and comment on my chart. Stop trading. Save your time and go do something else. Find another profession. This is not your profession. Because that's like the ABCs of trading. I'm talking exactly to that one person. This is not your thing, my friend. Stop doing it. You will lose your account. You may even want to bet your house and lose it. Don't do that. It's not for you. Go find another profession. You may be an excellent doctor, an excellent lawyer, but you're not a trader. Because the basics of trading you don't understand. Right? You have to look for it, a structure that has a long-term trend, and then every time it pulls back, you buy into it. You must have a setup that shows who's going to do that. So let's go. This is in a correction. It's not a long term. That says be careful because it's a correction right now and it's not giving us any clue. The uptrend is here, the downtrend is there, and we're in the middle of it. Some troll, it doesn't matter, Michael. It's just some troll, but I'm giving him some good advice. Stay away from things you have no idea what they're doing. We're looking for a sell here. I would wait for them to break and make a little flag and then sell it. You can see there was a big correction in there and they broke this bigger correction. So this is probably going to go down big time. We will break that low. So look for a sell setup and sell it all the way to that bottom. On the daily, this thing has huge potentials. So on the daily, it's not only going to break this low. On the daily, this thing could come and break this low. So And if you're following longer term trades, I don't think you will be in the trade that long, but if you're following longer term trades, it could come and break this low. So you see how many lows it has to go and break? First, it has to come and break that low, probably pull back, come back, break this low, probably pull back, come break this low. And when they break this low, we're going to expect them to take off. You see that big impulse there? Well, we're in a big correction right now. And then we look for the next big impulse. Yeah, the correction is a little weird. I'll agree with you. It's a little weird one, but that is how most of these exotic pairs, well, I would not exotic, but just these weird pairs, especially when you have like Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, and they move like that. They move pretty, you know. So watch this trade. When it comes to this low, move into profit. And then when it comes to this low, move into more profit, because it could start to go back up. Not, it's an uptrend, but there's a deeper correction, right? It's not going in a straight line. You just can't sell it and hold it. It's very slow, but you have to be careful. They go slow like this. I'll show you something about the chart. They go very slow, and then they drop. They go very slow, and then they start dropping. So this has been a slow move here for a while. Expect a drop, right? How do you recognize the real flag? That's a 6-week course. That's the answer. That's how you learn to recognize real flags and real structure, right? I can't give you that right now, right here. It's a 6-week course, right? You want to learn to do it, then learn to do it the right way. New Zealand CAD, very similar. This one is much easier though, right? Go for the New Zealand CAD then. You see this? This is a perfect setup for a sell. A short-term sell, maybe one like that, maybe one like this, and you take profit. I think they're going to go deeper because remember we had the bigger correction here. So this is a nice one, right? Look for this one. New Zealand Swiss, it's pulling back. I think we can get some more downside. You don't have a buy setup here. You'll have to wait for them to pull back like this. First, you look for the sell. And if the sell turns out to be something like this, take it off and look for the buy. Right? So this thing will have to pull back downward. So you can look for a sell setup, and then you look for buy. Well, it's look easy when the chart is already prepared and I show you it. Right? My traders, every time I do a course, my traders said exactly that. They said when you do it in the room, when you explain it, it's so pretty easy, right? And then you take off everything from the chart, and I said, okay, you do it now. And that's when the trouble starts, right? Well, because when something is already prepared, you know what it is, right? It's easy to see an apple when somebody draw it completely, but when it's in the process of drawing, you wouldn't even know what it is. Right? There is, for you to understand that clearly, there's this, it's called, I think, quick drawing or fast drawing or something like that, where this guy is making sketches, right? It takes like a couple minutes to do it, and he draws upside down even on the board. And then he turns around the board and you see what he was drawing. Literally, right? So while he's drawing, you have no idea what he's doing. He's just putting lines all over the place and drawing and coloring, and he's doing it with chalk, I think. So it's pretty easy. And then when he just flipped the board and you look at it, oh, wow, he was drawing somebody's face. You just wouldn't, you can Google it and recognize it. So it's pretty much the same thing with patterns. If you take a chart and you take everything out, you can't figure out what's in it. But if you understand what to look for, if you understand the patterns there, it's easy. It's not difficult. And that's what we train you to do, right? Silver, making a correction, good. It's making a very nice correction. So if they continue to do this, look for that trade up. I think they can go a little lower, and then you start looking for the next trade up. So let's go look at it in the 4-hour where it should go to. We're still in the downtrend. So when this small correction goes up to the trend line, you put it into profit and you wait to see if they break. Because if they break, you stay with it forever. Well, not forever, for a long time. Let me just put that on the daily so you can see where you should expect that to go. I think it's clear, right? You see how easy the chart looks now? Easy, right? And when I was telling everybody you should buy there, remember that? And now if they break out, buy this if you get that buy, because if this breaks out, this is where you're expecting it to go. That's your trade. Well, if it doesn't break out and it turns and it starts to come back to the downside from this level, it starts to go down back, you put it to break even, and then we will all look for sell setups next week. See? So this week, you either get a big trade to the upside going, or next week we get a big trade to the downside, and it will still go back up, right? So now it's at a point where it will talk to you, and actually, this is a gift. When you get a setup like this, you just got to wait for the breakout and take that trade and put it to break even. It's a gift that they're making a consolidation for you there. Because if this is going to go out, this is going to break straight through. You may get a move like that straight out. And it could happen during a news event. We will be in that trade. Right? Gold, same here. We got the expanding flat. Remember, we're looking for this to come to this low. And I was reading a lot of support and resistance people where they were like, yeah, once you break that support, you're looking for sell, right? Well, good luck to breaking any support anywhere in the chart, because that's exactly what they do. They break your support and then they go straight back up, right? So look for this. We got this correction. You're getting another correction here, and this is going up. We're definitely going to break those stop now. Now, in rare cases, they may break this top. Remember, the silver could break the top and then come back to retest the low. Anybody knows what that pattern is? I think all of you who do pattern will know what that is, right? It's either an expanding triangle, not flat, it's 5 waves. Flat is 3 waves and triangle is 5. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go back up. So right now we have an expanding flat. Either this thing is going to go and the silver go with it, or they both make one more up and then they start to come down back, retest the low, and then we go back up. Right? Yeah, the top is higher. This top is higher than this one, and they will have to break this top. So one more up, like I said. They're consolidating here, one more up like that. They will either come back to retest the low and then go, or they're going to take off. See, you guys are getting this concept already. Put it in the 4-hour, you're getting a consolidation. Take the next trade to the upside. You have one more impulse to the upside at least. One more to the upside. If they give you this, take that trade, put it to break even. And if they go, you're in a good trade. If they come back, you get break even. The next week, we'll all look for sells. Easy, right? This stuff is not hard, and you can see it, and you have very high probability because they actually work. Why they work? They work because of the nature of how we trade, the nature of how the market works, right? The way how people behave when they hit at the psychological area, like a top like this. Traders either get bold and they buy more, or they get scared and they exit, and then it will come back to the low. Right? It's a psychological game, and what they do and how they behave will tell us whether we're going to go out or whether we're going to come back. Easy. Oil is consolidating. It did drop as we expected. This was a nice drop here, and it looks like more upside. I hope my traders are in the buy, because we called the buy this morning in the room, and you can see the buy setup is already happening here. And I think this one is going to go. So if you're an oil trader, you may want to buy. There's a good, because we already have a 3-wave correction, right? You see that 1, 2, 3, and this should go up now, right? So what is the structure? Let's go in the 4-hour. Look at it. We're in an uptrend. See this? We are breaking out of this downtrend, whatever that correction was. It was a little weird one. And we made this correction here. We get an in. We're making another correction, one more impulse up, and they'll talk to us somewhere here. Somewhere there, you may want to start looking to take profit or move your stops into profit, because they can come back down. Right? I'm not expecting them to, but they can come back down. They may make a higher high, but you will have to be careful there. Right? So you have a good setup for a buy here on the 1-hour. Same with UK oil. You have it set up here. You got a nice flag. You got a nice flag here for a buy setup. If you get a setup, take it. If you know how to trade it, take it. Natural gas. Okay. Only this morning I was telling my traders to be careful. They entered here. I said, be careful with this now. We can get a deep pullback. So we're getting the deep pullback, and we'll wait to see what the structure is doing. I hope they're out of the trade, because they're supposed to move stops from that, those who trade it. And wait here some more. If we get flags here, we will sell. If they come out back of this, we will buy to this top. If they come out back of this trend line, they're going to go all the way to that top. Right? Very likely. But if they go down, you'll have to wait for a flag and then sell it to retest these lows. Right? So it's in a consolidation. They may bounce around there for a while. Wait for the trade. You don't have anything. It's not very clear right now. Nifty bounced. Watch it. Nifty is going to do two things right now, and either of those two are going to give you nice trade. First, if they give you a flag here, you buy to retest the top. Be careful, because once they test the top, they're coming down again, right? And or if they consolidate here without going to the top, then you look for this trade. We have prepared this chart already in the daily, and that's the thing. They can make one more up and they'll come back, make one more up and then come back. But you're going to get this trade once you break the trend line, once you get a corrective structure. So to give it some time to either give you a flag for a buy or give you a corrective structure for a sell. Which is it going to be? Time will tell. It doesn't matter which one it is. If it's a flag, you should be in the buy. If it's a correction, you should be in the sell. This one dropped, and the whole move looks very much like a correction now, because they're pulling back pretty deep. So you got a correction here, you got a move, you got a correction, you got a move, we get a correction. If they break, look for that trade up, retest the top, right? If they break. If they don't, you don't have a trade set up until they come back and give you another flag here. If they correct here, right, they just correct like that, then you look for this. So if they passively break out, which means, I'm within the hourly and show that may be complex to explain here, but I'll try to do it. If they start to do something like this here and come out passively like that, that's not a buy setup. You're looking for a sell. But if they come out very fast, make a flag, then you buy. Right? So those who are watching it, that's what you can do. S&P 500, they broke. Let's see. I still think there may be more downside here because they broke the structure. So you need to wait and see. This is a sharp move down. This could be just a 1, maybe a 2, maybe a 3, and then we could see that go down there. Watch this. They could still go back up, but I don't think you should be buying it, right? Because this could make the deeper correction. Everything in it tells us that deeper correction could come right now. You see how sharp this one pulled back before they came down? Watch at this piece. Let me just make it bigger for you. See when they made that sharp drop there? It took a long time sideways before they come down. So watch this. If they take a long time sideways here, watch for this drop. Right? I'm expecting them to come down. Everything in that is telling us you can get this trade. If you're a long-term trader, you will know how to trade it. You don't have to worry with all the noise in it. That's a good trade. When they come here, we'll see if we get one more up. It's possible you can get one more up. So keep your eyes on it, right? The downside is very, very possible. If you're a long-term trader, I would not be worried about selling it. Right? If you're long-term, but if you're a short-term trader trading only in the spot trade, well, then you wait for the setups, right? If you're in the trade, you probably got taken out for a very small one, and then that's it. Let's see what else we can look at. We have too many charts. Somebody want Bitcoin? I'll look at the Bitcoin for you. Bitcoin is already at the top. When Bitcoin moves so high, you don't want to buy at the top. It's useless. But here for those of you who are doing cryptocurrencies, I'll show you one that you should be interested in. This one. Why this one? I think if you don't know why this one, don't trade it. This is going to come down to about this level here. And you want to buy it here. You want to buy it when it's somewhere around 14, 15 cents. It's not going to break this low. I'm not expecting them to break that low. But you want to buy this when it's 14, 15 cents. If you look at the chart and you understand how these cryptocurrencies work, you will know what I'm saying. First, if it goes, it can go to zero, right? It could go to zero. I don't care. It may go to zero. Well, what you're going to lose is 13 cents on your investments, right? So you buy 1,000. Well, that's 13 cents by 1,000. That's what you lost. You buy 10,000. You can put how much money. You don't have to put a stop on this. Put how much money you can afford to totally lose and buy that much with it because it's cents. It's worth cents. And the next spot is look for this. Right? Two things this can do at this point here. It can do two things. It can get to zero, which means it's totally collapsed, nothing is good. But the next point is, if they start to go up, they will have to go tag the top there. So if you're looking at how new cryptocurrencies work when they start to build structure, this is how they work. Look at this one. Right? Forget about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is too expensive where it is. It's not worth the deal. Right? Because if Bitcoin, you wake up tomorrow morning and Bitcoin crash, you'll go bankrupt. And believe it's, well, you don't have to, you just have to understand how structure work, and you know that thing is going to come back down. Right? That's just natural. The point is they will push it until, and here's what people say, but I made some money the last time. Yes, if you made some money last time, keep it in your pocket. Don't go put it on it this time, because that's the encouragement, is that you think you will make more and you will make more, and you keep all the profit you make, you keep pushing back into it. And that is what they want. The movers of that want you to do that, because when they crash it, you will be the last person in. They want you to entice to buy at the very high, because it's going to come down and then you're going to lose everything. So buy the ones that are pretty low. They have to go up. Yeah, when everybody stops buying, it's going to crash. That's the whole point. So here is what you have to do. If you want interested in this, you may have to hold this for a long time. You may have to hold it for a year or so. Let me show you, if I can show you the Bitcoin forecast I made about a year ago, that the where Bitcoin should start going up. You would have, I didn't trade it. Somebody asked me and I give them the forecast, but I told them, you know, it's long term. You'll have to hold it for very, very long term. So where's Bitcoin? Let me go back to where it is. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, like on the daily, or I think it's on the weekly probably. I made a forecast somewhere here. I think you will have to look at it on a daily, not a weekly, a daily probably. Let me go back to the daily and see if I can still find it there. I'm not even talking about these where I was saying Bitcoin is going up, possible wave count for upside, right? Looks upside. I'm not even talking about those. I'm talking about a forecast I made somewhere in here when it started to fall. I think somewhere here. Yep, the end of the bear market in Bitcoin. This was the first time I looked at Bitcoin. Somebody asked me to do it. And I said, well, this structure is telling me that the market is about to end, right? If you look at this structure here, the way this was coming down, this would probably go just slightly lower, and then it's going to take off. Well, not exactly like that, but it did take off. And actually, I think they did get that much high, right? Because that, if you look at the arrow was showing that they'll come and break this top. And I think we broke that top by much more. So this is already at the top. You don't want to buy anything when it's at the top. Go with this one, and you'll probably make money. A year from now, you can come back and you can tell me how much money you make, right? This is one of my friends, he doesn't trade it, he mines it. And I'm doing the chart for him. So at this level, I think you could make one more up, but they're going to probably come down either from there or from here, right? Selling from the top, well, if you can pick the top, then selling from the top would be a good idea. If you understand structure, Idris, I think you know structure better than most people, right? Because I think you took the course. So if you know how to do that, if you're the same person in my group, I think you are, right? You know how to do that. Go on those time frames and look at it. I know all my traders, literally, right? So I know you're from my group. Go at it, look at it, and then you're gonna, you may be able to pick the top. You know how we do it when they're at the extreme levels, right? Try that, and it may work very good. Sugar. Okay, let's look. Did I stop the recording? Let me stop the recording. It's gonna be too long. Stop the recording. Before I stop the recording, let me thank you all for coming. Right? We had more than 300 people. It's good if you can help share the link. Please help share the link. There are a lot of traders who are now only finding me, and then they write me with a big surprise. Man, I look at 2 of your videos and they're amazing. I'm like, okay, that's 2 years ago. You should have said that, right? Because you should have found my video 2 years ago, and then it would have been much more amazing for you. Right? So if you guys help share it, just share it on LinkedIn and on anywhere there's a group of traders you see, you can share it and they'll help. When you can, I wouldn't be sharing my views on TradingView anymore. That's it. TradingView is done. In 2 or 3 months time, we'll have there's a new charting package coming out, It's going to be better than TradingView because the people who are going to create it, they're correcting all the mistakes TradingView make. Not Trading Floor, no. This will be a kind of a social chart, very similar to TradingView, but a little better. I'll be posting there. So if you have patience for 2 or 3 months now, you will be there. Oh, we'll give you the link. Don't worry. As soon as it's out, we'll give you the link. A friend of mine is building it. Tell you about the course. Send me a Skype message and I'll give you all the info you need about the course. Let me put it this way. Send me a Skype message to type MANGAL457. That's my Skype ID. You will see it's written in Russia. Don't worry, I'm in Russia for now. Right? And if you send me a message, I'll give you it. So with that, thank you for coming. Let me stop the recording. And those who have questions, we can spend the next couple of minutes.